Welcome back to Lower Trestles here in San Clemente, California. You're watching the Swatch Women's Pro Final with 5-time Women's World Champ Stephanie Gilmore, current world number 4, taking on current world number 1 now, Sally Fitzgibbons, as Carissa Moore was knocked out earlier in the contest. Joe Chappelle alongside former world champ Martin Potter as we assess the conditions for the final. Before we get into that, let's hear from finalists. John Florence downstairs with Rosie Hodge.
Yeah, that's right. John Florence, super popular with the crowd. But John, it's safe to say that you owed Kelly Slater after that semi-final in Tahiti.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's keep coming down these last couple second things, and I'm so stoked to have gotten him this time. There's been a couple heats, and we had Pipe, and then we had the Tahiti one, and then now there's this one. And yeah, he's a scary guy to surf against.
And you are matched up against Jordy Smith in that final. Both of you guys have surfed a number of times today, expending a lot of energy, but what can we expect from that final?
Yeah, I'm super tired, and I'm guessing Jordy is too. We both surfed a bit, and the waves, they're pretty hard to surf right now, and it's kind of slow, but I'm just going to go out there and do the best I can, and yeah.
All right, John, well, we're really looking forward to that matchup. Go rest up, get hydrated, and ready for the final. Back up to you, boys.
Thanks, Rosie. John Florence tending to his fans, but he has to go prepare as we go back to the final for the women. Sally Fitzgibbons getting position off Stephanie Gilmore to show her backhand on the lowers left. Now setting up down the line, backside snap off the coping. Deep bottom turn and a big finishing move. She created some space. One more bonus option for Fitzgibbons. Subtle claim, she likes to drive herself when she has a clean finishing hook, and she'll take the lead pots.
Yeah, I tell you what, she doesn't need any encouragement. This girl is completely fired up no matter when she surfs, whether it's round 1 or the finals. But up against 5-time world champ Steph Gilmore, she's going to have to bring all the game that she's got. Steph's been, on fire since the first round. She's been, I tell you what, looking really smooth, really powerful, and she's going to be hard to beat if Steph gets the waves.
Gilmore, 5'10", 26 years of age, from the Gold Coast of Australia, took a big win on her home court at Snapper Rocks. It's crazy to see her chasing in a world title race. As we look at Sally Fitzgibbons, she's always been in the world title conversation. She's just 23. We're expecting big things to come in Sally's future as we take a look at Stephanie's first wave.
Yeah, she's found a nice clean face, and look at that technique there from Steph Gilmore. She's got one of the best at it. That style right there, that maneuver that she does, not a lot of girls on tour can do. She's got that extra extension on the body. She gets that board spinning right back around and finishes with a bang. Oh my goodness. So Steph Gilmore, that's going to be a massive score. Sally Fitzgibbon on her backhand deciding to go left here. A trickier wave to ride because that wind's going into you. You're going against the wind, so you're going to feel like you're going a little slower, but a little bit more bump on the face of the wave too. Sally Fitzgibbon's got that great backhand technique. She's proved it. She won in Rio de Janeiro on her backhand, and she's going to try and do the same thing out here against Steph Gilmore. She's going to have to produce the goods because Steph looks like she's out of the blocks and she's on fire.
With now 30 minutes on the clock, we'll take a look at the matchups all time with Stephanie Gilmore versus Sally Fitzgibbons. You can see the last one went to Stephanie Gilmore in a semifinal back at the U.S. Open in Huntington Beach. I was at WCT status event for the Women's World Tour, a place where Sally had won in the past. Sally is always very easy to read when she's devastated with a loss, and that stings until she's back on the top of the podium. Yeah,
well, she's had 2 wins so far this year. She's finally got herself back into that first place. This is Sally's best shot at a world title since she's been on the world tour, but I tell you what, the other girls are fired up as well.
So Sally now trying to break the tie with all-time matchups with Steph as she carves to start. Now she has the coping show up, snaps it off the top, deep bottom turn, and she'll push this one out in front. Fades the cut back, clean lowers while trimming to the inside. Off the bottom, another wrapping cutback, and now Sally looking to close this one out. Little hop off the top, and she'll get a little 2-for-1 bonus on the tail end section.
Nice wave from Sally, and you can tell she's got that real pause in between maneuvers, just sort of setting herself up mentally, physically. She's making sure that board's flowing nice and clean. Let's have a look at the replay here. As she drops down, you can see she sort of straightens her body as she goes into that first turn. Right there again, she pauses, and then she bangs it up through the lip. So she's got this thing going at the moment where she's just giving herself that extra bit of time just to set things up, making sure she connects with the maneuvers, making sure she sticks them nice and clean without any mistakes. We're seeing Sally Fitzgibbons surfing really smooth and clean in this event, but she's going to have to crank it up against the champ.
Well, she got active towards the tail end of that wave. Sally Fitzgibbons moves like a butterfly, stings like a bee when she attacks these rights that offer multiple sections on the opening exchange spots. It goes to Gilmore, a 9-5 to Sally's 7.
Yep.
The 7 came on the left.
7 came on the left, so you know there are scoring the lefts, but those right-handers look like the ones. Stephanie Gilmore, DHD board, duck nuts, 5'9", 18.38. Thickness 2.18 and 24.8 litres of volume. FCS2 thruster, rounded squash. Sally firewire with the Pizel design.
Pretty different in the contrast. Stephanie taller than her surfboard, using that an inch shorter, a little bit wider outline. Do you like that board decision from Gilmore?
Yeah, I do. You know, the wave generally here moves a lot slower, so I think you need a board that's going to be pushing less water. You know, a little thicker, a little wider is going to give her that. It's going to allow her to skate across the top of the water. And it's been, I tell you what, it's looking like that. It's looking like she's really loose and free. And she's allowed to do those really beautiful arcing turns and carry her speed through those turns.
Well, now 26.5 to go in the final as we see a little wave popping up. First priority with Gilmore, and she'll remain selective. These two have had so many heavy matchups, and since they're top seeds, the matchups come towards the heavy part of the event. They just had a final recently this season back in Fiji when Sally made a board decision that really paid off.
Sally rode a longer board, didn't she? She rode something that was quite a bit longer than everyone else. But what that did was it allowed her to sit further up the reef. I mean, if you can remember back, it was bombing cloud break for the girls. It was something that they'd never surfed before. So, you know, a lot of them were having to overcome fear. Sally took a longer board out. She was on the bigger set wave. She got barreled. She ended up snapping that board, but still she had built enough points and got herself far enough ahead that it didn't matter.
Well, right now, Sally trying to get her 3rd win, Potts, of the season. She already took world #1 with Carissa out early. Stephanie's looking for her 2nd win. What's more crucial? Is it more crucial for Stephanie Gilmore to come up victorious at this stage in the season?
It is. You know, I mean, Sally's already got world #1, so, you know, Steph really needs a win here. She needs a win to get herself right back up there. I mean, she's in the running for a world title this year, but this will just really, you know, I tell you what, throw the cat amongst the pigeons. It's going to come down to anyone's game. It's probably going to come down to Maui at the end of the year, and that's what we want to see.
Scary place for Stephanie return, our final event of the season at Honolulu Bay, where Gilmore dominated back when she was a rookie, 2nd, 3rd year on tour. She's had perfect 6 to 8 foot Honolulu in the past, but this year, a breakthrough year for women's surfing. The first ever WCT brought to Lower Trestles, the most high performance wave in the area. It's a wave magnet. We see everybody battling here when they come to travel through Southern California, and now a gift and seeing 2 of the best in the world rounding out the final. Yeah,
and in the men's too. You know, you got John and Geordie, 2 of them, you know, 2 young guys that are going to go right at it. This is going to be a great day. It's been a great day of surfing, but it's not over yet. Sally Fitzgibbons takes the lead, a 7.03, 24.5 on the clock, so Steph Gilmore needs to answer back. She's looking for a 4.53, so Steph's going to play the patient game. She knows exactly the kind of wave she's looking for, and she's going to look like she just wants to post big scores.
Well, now let's check out the road to the final in the Swatch Women's Pro to see which side of the draw was harder. It's hard to argue that one. Steph Gilmore had her roommate Laura Enever to start off finals day this morning. Laura came up short, even though she shredded that heat. On the other side, Sally had to deal with Bianca Batendog, who was looking to be dangerous in conditions like this.
Yeah, Bianca was, I mean, she's been on fire, you know, very similar to the snapper conditions that she posted a final berth. Then Sally came up against the rookie, Joanne DeFay, who, to me, she's been on fire. I mean, a real surprise standout for her. Semi-final result for Joanne. That is going to do wonders for her rookie season, but Sally overcame Joanne with some great surfing and now finds herself in the final. She's going to take that yellow jersey off Carissa Moore. And I can tell you, Carissa's not going to be happy about that.
Huge one there. Check out ASPWorldTour.com to check out the update in the standings with our world #2 on the men's side out of the event. Kelly Slater's downstairs with Rosie Hodge.
Thanks so much, Joey. Kelly, you know, we've been talking a lot about rivalries, and it just seems like when you and John come up against each other, it's always something spectacular to watch. Do you find that he's kind of fueling a fire for you and maybe a bit of a driving force in your competitive career at the moment?
Somewhat, yeah. I really enjoy serving as John. It's just we do almost every single heat we've had man-on-man has been real tight. You know, down to the last wave, down to the last second. Like, you know, he smoked me in that one yesterday, and I had a pretty good one over him years ago when he was like still a Grom but at pipe. But pretty much any man-on-man heat we've had has been real close, and you know, I think that's exciting. And I mean, it's stressful for us in the water, you know, but. Chopo, there was so many waves that it was really fun for us. That time out there, that was a little frustrating. The ocean pretty much died. I don't even think we were missing any small ones that were good. And, you know, even my best wave was just a closeout. So there just wasn't much on offer out there.
And a lot of interesting things have started to kind of happen through it, like when you get to the back half of the year. Is there anything interesting that stuck out to you in this event?
Probably just John surfing in that round 4 heat. You know, I think that he's been the surfer of the event so far, and it'd be fitting if he were to win today. But also, you know, everyone bets on Jordy every year to win this thing, and he never has. So it's a great final, and we'll see what happens. But it was nice to, you know, the first half of the year was a little bit slow with waves, and it seems like we're getting a bit more lucky now. You know, Chopes and here at Trestles. You know, Topo was like the best wave you could ever have, and then here was a great swell. I don't think it was a great trestle swell, but it was really nice to have all that energy in the water. And already looking out at the forecast now, there's 2 swells in the window for France, and they're short interval, so it should be kind of peaky.
All right, well, we're looking to a great event in France and look forward to seeing you there. Back up to you, boys.
Thanks, Rosie. Great insight from Kelly Slater. Shaking that one off quickly. John bringing out maybe the best in the, you know, as of late, he reflected on Pipeline, Chopu, and now lower Trestles. He wanted a little bit more out of that last heat, you can tell.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to, you know, the ocean just to pump, so they both have equal opportunity and both light it up. You know, he wants to see the crowd wowed and everyone excited about it. But how is he? He's already looking at the swells for the next event. That's crazy. I mean, that's how prepared this guy is. He's already got Travely running around getting his quiver organized for France, because that's coming up very shortly. And you know, always prepared is Kelly Slater. Amazing banks right now at the Quicksilver Pro France. The next stop on tour, as we see 20 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock. The Hurley Pro Final to follow with John Florence taking on Jordy Smith, both in their first final of the season. They've got a lot of similarities in their game pots. What do you like about Jordy Smith first? I like his power. You know, I want to see Jordy finish his waves with more of a power move rather than sliding that tail out. We're seeing him do that a little bit too much, and he ends up coming unstuck. You know, John, I want to see John go to the air. That's what he's good at. You know, the crowd love it. That's the kind of excitement. So we're going to see air game against power base. That one coming up next as we see a little check for Sally Fitzgibbons. Thinking about that wave, she has back-to-back 7s, a 7.0 and a 7.03 to take the lead off Gilmore. Gilmore now needs a 4.53 to take the lead with still 20 minutes to go. Without priority, Sally's still hunting and looking at these little insiders, and we'll see if she can produce something there. Kelly mentioned how there wasn't too much on offer through the inside. From your vantage point, Potts, can you see any scoreable waves in a different position in this lineup? Well, there's sets coming through, but they're kind of moving further down, and that's what happens when the tide comes in. It sort of straightens up. That peak situation that you see at lower tide is not quite happening. That, you know, Kelly said his best wave was a closeout there. And traditionally we have a slow heat, then the next heat kind of is, we get a bit of a flurry of waves. So these girls have got to be on their toes, so there should be some sets coming through. It is getting straighter. The lines are getting a lot straighter. That's going to be harder to find that scoring potential. Maybe the lefts. Well, right now we have the tide rising throughout the rest of the day. It'll be later on this evening, a pretty high tide, as you see Stephanie Gilmore looking at an insider. She'll use her priority to back up the 9.5. Nice fading cutback. Beautiful off the bottom. She'll maintain composure to hit it off the lip. Short space to fill in the foam climb, and she'll hop out. Only needed a 4.53 to get the lead. You know, we're talking about how the waves are going to straighten up a bit and close out, and that's a great example right there. You know, that wave not offering Stephanie Gilmore those beautiful long lines that we used to here at lower Trestles. But tell you what, she did capitalize, and as usual, drawing off the bottom. Look at the style she uses, and just that extra little tweak at the end of her turns is what makes this young lady amazing. Fits another turn in, and right there punctuates that wave with a nice little foam climb. So I think she's going to get the score. You know, the judges are not scared to throw big scores at small waves. It was compact. She fit a lot in a short space of time. and really did nail her maneuvers. There was no mistakes at all in that wave.
As you look towards uppers in the distance, President Nixon used to live up on that hill. You can see Gilmore paddling back out. Scores are starting to come through. 18 minutes remaining. We saw Lakey Peterson receive the first Innovation Award for the Swatch Women's Pro. And now we have Felipe Toledo on the desk with Todd and Strider.
Yeah, Felipe, we recognized Lakey earlier for the Swatch Women's Pro Innovation Award. Congratulations to you for winning it at the Hurley Pro, the Innovation Award. And it was for that huge backside air rotation. It was in round 2, heat number 11 against Adam Melling. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, Stoker, that was kind of crazy. I was kind of surprised when I landed that air. When I hit the leap, I thought I was in the wrong spot, like in the wrong rotation, and my foot was the wrong spot in the board. And yeah, but yeah, I was super stoked when I landed and just went straight for another turn, and yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it was super. You know, all of us around here, we were all freaking out when you did that. It was an amazing maneuver, very inspiring to so many. Like, who inspires you as you go back into it? Who's the person out there that you draw from and makes you feel like, okay, I want to do that?
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of movies from Jody and like Danny Haynods. Yeah, a couple like guys trying some crazy things like Shippa Wilson and Matt Meola, guys like that. So all of these guys are inspiring me, and yeah.
Well, congratulations on the Hurley Pro Innovation Award. Good luck carrying that up the hill because it's pretty darn heavy. Guys, great final underway out in the water right now for the Swatch Women's Pro.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Strider. And thanks, Felipe Toledo, for putting on an amazing show. He was one of the favorites coming down to lower Trestles, where it's kind of now his home break since he's moved to San Clemente. One of the best in the world, and he can go so high in the air, especially on his backhand. He's kind of battling John for that best backside air reverse award.
Yeah, absolutely right. And, you look at his inspiration, Shippa Wilson, Matt Meola, guys like that. Shippa Wilson, probably one of the most technically sound aerial artists. He's probably got 5 or 6 grabs for each different air. And everyone's got their inspiration. It's good to see Felipe looking towards those kind of guys. As
we did have a lead change on the last wave for Gilmore. She got a 5.5 on that last it was a small wave, and she turned it into a keeper. Fitzgibbons down to second, now needs a 7.98 to take the lead, 15:30 to go. Impressive how Stephanie made a decision with first priority not to sit and wait for a set at this point.
Well, she didn't want to let things go. She didn't want to be, searching for a score right towards the end of the heat. So a smart move there for her. That's why she's won 5 world titles, by producing the goods. She knew that wave was going to let her in and get a couple of good scoring maneuvers, and it's exactly what happened. So she's relying on her talent right now. She's relying on her ability, and she's believing she can pull this off. She's surfing with so much confidence right now, way different to what we've seen so far this year.
Making a really exciting world title race. We had the theme of presented to us from former world champ Shawn Thompson, looking at the Women's World Tour over the last couple of decades and just naming one surfer that really changed the guard. Stephanie was that surfer when she came on as a rookie and won her first world title, and it was so easy. She didn't have to try too much. She didn't have to put the jersey on in QS events. She'd show up and dominate every time. She was that much better than everyone on tour.
Yeah, and well, things have changed now, haven't they? I mean, she's got 5 world titles. She's 20, just turned 26, I think, and she's in the prime of her life. And I think this is a really great thing that she's got girls like Carissa, Sally, and Tyler Wright that are going to push her for the next few years.
Well, coming into this event, we'll dive into the world title story. World number 1, Carissa Moore, was wearing the yellow jersey. Back-to-back wins in the Australian leg from Margaret River to Bells Beach. Then things sort of changed with Sally Fitzgibbons getting that winning feeling in Fiji and Rio.
Yep, Tyler Wright at the US Open. Stephanie won the first event. So, who's a name right at the bottom there? Malia Manuel. She's been surfing incredibly well. Really good to see her cranking up the game. And there's the points breakdown. 10,000 for first, 8,000 for second. So Sally's, even if she does get second here, she's going to really gain on the rest of the field.
Well, remember the Roxy Pro France coming up next on the Women's World Tour. The first year they'll have throwaway results. Sally's been dangerous there in the past, and she knows how to win. But the big story will all be focusing on the world title race, since Carissa will be not world number 1 entering the Roxy Pro France. Most competitors on tour flying out of here on Sunday. and getting straight back into doing battle. Back-to-back events in Europe, going straight into Portugal after that, Potts.
Yeah, there's no rest for the wicked, Joe. No, it's kind of good, though, especially for the surfers that kind of find that momentum here, because you can get that ball rolling and it kind of rolls into the next event. You continue that form, continue that momentum. You know, for the surfers that have had bad results here, they've really got to focus and make sure that they stop that bad momentum going into the next two.
As we see, Matthias works hard with the Roxy camp. He's really proud of his squad over the last couple of days. A solid surfer where his home break is at the next stop. So he'll be sharing his secrets coming into that next event with 12:30 to go. Gilmore casually getting a 9.5 and then backed it up with a 5.5. Even though she has almost a near perfect 10, are you expecting more from her in the back half of this final?
Absolutely right. You know, Sally's got 2 7s. She only needs a 7.98. Sally's been posting A+ rides the entire event. So Steph's looking for, you know, something up into that 8-point range just to make sure. She just wanted to get that 2-wave total happening, and now she's got something to chip away at. Every time she takes off, she knows she's got to better that 5.50.
With now 12 minutes remaining, Fitzgibbons needs a 7.98. There's more waves on the way as we see a decision now from Fitzgibbons with priority. She'll set up this first turn, a deep bottom turn. A lot of warble on the open face. She slides out. Priority with Gilmore now. There's one more wave, and she's being selected. We'll see if she takes off, Potts.
Yeah, she's going to let that go. You know, a bit of a mistake there from Sally. Traditionally very bumpy on the first one.
Well, we saw Sally slide out. Pete, is the wind getting too strong out there?
On those first waves, absolutely. You know, we saw that same thing happen earlier, but you know, Sally kind of got baited in there by Stephanie Gilmore. She looked at it, didn't want to give her another chance to even extend her lead even further. And unfortunately, a big error for Sally Fitzgibbons. Now, priority shifting over there. We've only got 12 minutes left in the heat. You know, I'm sitting in the water and I actually feel like the current has been pulling me actually towards the peak. It's kind of odd. So it's like something, a little shift maybe. The wind's still obviously blowing strong and, you know, blowing us down the way. But the water, actually, the current seems to be pulling me kind of up the reef, which means that the tide's kind of changing, a little bit of shift. Hopefully that improves the surf.
Well, with the tide rising, Pete, have you noticed a difference in the right and the left? Have you been liking the conditions on a higher or lower tide this week?
Well, I do. I'm a high tide guy, and the reason why I say that is because it centralizes the peak. You know, earlier when with all that wind swell, and you know, it spread it out a little bit, and you got to see that wind swell more. I think now with the tide filling in, you'll start to see it compress and be right centralized on the peak itself, and I think the rights will start to clean up.
Well, right now, Pete, we always reference lowers as one of the most easy waves to surf and rip. You actually look better. Is that scenario happening now with conditions like this, or do we have a serious challenge for finals time?
Well, you know, when you got the wind is the way it is right now, it's going to be a challenge no matter what, but these are the best in the world, so you'd hope that they're going to perform for us, right?
Thank you very much, Peter. We'll check in with you. 10 minutes to go. Still in this final with the Swatch Women's Pro. Stephanie Gilmore with a 9.5 start and a 5.5 to back it up. Sally, so consistent, repeat 7s, and now needs a 7.98 to turn it with 10 to go.
Yeah, it's you know, tough call for Sally. You know, Steph with priority. She's going to better that 5.50 and hopefully extend her lead.
As we see a wave popping up out the back, it'll be Stephanie's decision. She doesn't want it, and Sally will let this one run through. They're being ultra selective. We had 35 minutes on the clock, and now we're down to crunch time. Will Sally Fitzgibbons take her 3rd win of the season, or will Stephanie Gilmore get a little bit closer in this world title race as we anticipate more action to come? We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back in the final at the Swatch Women's Pro right after this. Welcome back to Swatch Women's Pro, the 7th stop on the Samsung Galaxy ASP World Championship Tour. The title race is on. We're heading to the Roxy Pro France for stop number 8 out of 10 as the world title race is getting ultra heavy on the women's side. Right now we have the battle for a heavy final. Gilmore, 5-time world champ, taking on Sally Fitzgibbons, who's been really hungry to take her first world title in her career. This could be her year as she's currently world number 1. Now making a move, Gilmore. Setup work to start. She's looking to better a 5.5. Swings it back in the pocket and now drives off the bottom. Snaps it, tail slide, finish. And she'll get into another clean section. Wraps it back in the pocket, she'll float it. Slides the tail just to add a little extra on the tail into that wave. Fitzgibbons now wants a fair answer back, and she'll hold back on that last wave, Potts.
All I can say is, wow, you know, we're talking about how she's built her confidence up, and she's coming into this event carrying a lot of it from the get-go. She's been looking really dangerous. That wave there was just a little bit of an insight on, you know, Steph Gilmore's headspace right now. Just that full commitment on that second turn. Just a quick setup turn here, and, you know, waiting for the bump to sort of filter out as that wave comes through the inside section, biding her time. And then right here, she just clicks with it, throws the fins out, and you can see that back foot. She stomps down on the tail again right there. She's twisting that body around, bringing this one through the inside. So Steph Gilmore starting to open up those shoulders, starting to find her groove. See how she leans right over, drags that rail into the water, and then just punctuates her turn with that back foot right there, just over the back of the wave, as we see Sally up and riding.
Fitzgibbons now setting her pace on the right, waiting on scores for Gilmore, so she still needs a pretty solid score. Sally will set this one up off the bottom and lose it on the finish. You can see that breeze affecting Fitzgibbons' equipment. And now she's down to 6:10 on the clock. Gilmore winning that last exchange, and we'll check to see if she's going to win priority again too, Potts.
Yeah, it looks like Steph's going to probably get back out, and scores are dropping right now. She's going to improve on her situation. That's what Steph's doing. She's built her confidence up to a point now where she's got a 2-wave total. She knows she's got a 5.50 on wave number 2. And wave number 3 is looking like a cracker, and it's going to go up into that excellent range.
As we sneak into the locker room, preparing for the Hurley Pro Final. Jordy Smith, a few lockers down, sitting next to Garth Tarlow. Garth, former tour competitor. And Jordy and John have been on a lot of trips around the world in the past. Jordy looking serious, and John with his mom Alex looking really comfortable, Potts.
Yeah, looking comfy. Two friends will become enemies in about 5 or 6 minutes time as that score locks in for Steph Gilmore. 8.33. So Steph Gilmore with a cracker of a 2-wave total, 17.83 2-wave total. Sally Fitzgibbon needing a 17.84 2-wave total to come back. So she's got to wipe the board clean and literally needs a 4-minute and 50-second heat, which is a pretty tall order out here at Lower Trestles.
Well, we've got a little peak popping up, and Gilmore wants it again, looking to improve on a pretty big number. Big bottom turn. Grace will start with that high line arc. Fades the bottom turn into a serious carve. Now the lip off the top. She'll lay back into it, changing up the pace and flow. And Gilmore rips another lowers right to pieces. Looking to improve on an 8.33. Already has Sally Fitzgibbon comboed with 4 minutes and 19 seconds remaining.
She is oozing confidence right now. She has left her best performance for last. This is incredible surfing from Steph Gilmore. She just glides in nice and easily and opens up with a massive turn. Beautiful rotation of the top there. Comes out again. Look at her just pushing that back foot down as hard as she can. Almost doing a John rail turn right there. Another one. She backs it up with one more and finishes off. So Steph Gilmore, technique perfect. Timing is absolutely perfect as well.
Sally Fitzgibbons needs something huge now. She's comboed with 3:45 to go. She'll hit it off a challenging whitewater section and now get into some open face. It'll double up and she'll meet it high with a vertical snap off the coping. She likes to ride it out and start firing herself up, but she's gonna have to really turn on the heat pots. Well, Gilmore.
Yeah, because Gilmore just locked in the first perfect 10-point ride of the event. All 5 judges locked in 10s. It was a quick one, that's for sure. As Steph Gilmore, 19.502 wave total. Steph Gilmore showing why she's a 5-time world champion. I tell you what, watch out the rest of the field. This lady is on a roll.
Well, it seemed like when excellent range scores, we say excellent meaning 8 to 10 point range. We're coming to her in the early rounds of finals day. We knew that she had a little bit more in the tank. There's a better wave coming for Gilmore, and she peaked on demand in the final to get a 10 and a 9.5. The highest combined wave total of the Swatch Women's Pro when she needed it the most. Fitzgibbons now at 245 has to reset and do something huge to come back.
That she does. I mean, that's it's a tall order for Sally. Near impossible, but you know, Sally Fitzgibbons, obviously a tenacious competitor, a great talent. Let's not count her out just yet. She's just locking in a score now. It's not going to better her 2-wave total. So Sally basically needs something in the 9.6 range to get herself out of that combo situation. So it's a massive order for her there, but just how Steph Gilmore, she's just gotten better and better and peaked at the right time. 10-point ride in the final. That's the way to do it.
Now 2 minutes remaining in this one, and Fitzgibbons needs a huge comeback roll. We've seen crazy comebacks in surfing history. At lowers with these conditions, it's a pretty tall order. Sometimes the left will let you back in the lineup quicker, but we have the wind blowing into the face, which will be harder to perform unless you're going above the lip.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Sally opened up with a 7 on the left. Steph opened with a 9.5 on the right, and really just turned the screws. Just got better and better. She just looked more and more comfortable as the heat progressed, and her last ride was her best one of the whole event. Perfect 10. All 5 judges locked in a 10. So great surfing there from Steph Gilmore. Wow, that's all I can say.
Well, Richie Porta used to be the head judge of the Women's World Tour, and back when Maui was previously on the world schedule, Stephanie got a wave and blitzed it. She had another perfect 10 that season, and Richie was quick to say that there was no one else on tour that could have come close to that performance. It was an easy decision. That happened all the time. And now in Stephanie's comeback year, she's getting close, and you could almost say she's got her second win of the season. She came into this world number 4. She actually dropped a spot after her US Open performance, right back where she wants to be with 54 seconds on the clock, Bots.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Steph actually moves up into the top 3 or top 2 maybe. You know, it's a win for her, depending on how far behind she was. Here she goes again, Joe.
Just getting the roll in, and she'll get creative on this final wave. Gilmore, nice clean off the top, way out in front, sets that rail. Beautiful roundhouse cutback, high rebound. She projects into a nice, clean frontside cutback, rips it off the lip, deep bottom turn, throws the rail, reverse, and she ends up sinking. If she would have pulled that one off, they would have had to give her 11 or a 12 on that wave.
Yeah, you can see she's smiling, she's having fun, she's loving her job today. Unbeatable, really, from the get-go, Steph Gilmore. She got pushed a few times during this event, but waited and, you know, just did enough to win her heats, moving through to the finals and then producing her best performance yet. I think so far this year, this is the best she's surfed. Even at Snapper, I think her performance here today was bar none the best I've seen.
And it's official. Stephanie Gilmore is your Swatch Women's Pro champion. A historic year, the first time ever the Women's World Tour stops in Southern California here at Lowers, and she breezes to victory, saving her best for the final. And there's that signature smile from Happy Gilmore, Potts.
Yeah, it's great to see. You know, it was just a matter of time before she found that mojo, that competitive juices started flowing again. Carissa Moore, it's Tyler Wright, Sally Fitzgibbons, watch out. Steph Gilmore's back, and you guys have got a fight on your hands. It's going to be one cracker of a world title race coming down. France is next, she's done well there. Then they've got Portugal, and then finishing off at Maui, where she's won before. So Steph Gilmore's back in the race well and truly, and it's going to be an exciting year for women's surfing.
Well, Stephanie Gilmore is such an amazing ambassador of pro surfing. Even though she's Australian, this feels like her second home. She spends a lot of time here, and she's already getting screams from her friends and her family. She brought her dad out here to California.
Hey, we'll walk up here and then we'll carry you.
Laura Enever. There's Holly Monk and her team manager.
Holly wants to carry up no matter what.
But it's one of the hardest chairs at the beach with all the cobblestone rocks.
Yeah. This is really dangerous stuff. I see security guard. Wow.
Everybody just slow down. Just slow down.
Chat on the direction. And now the celebrations beginning on the beach. What an amazing champion. Second win of the season for Gilmore. She was quick to know, Potts, saying how all the Californians and Hawaiians into the prelude to this event were saying to be favored at lowers, and she proved it was a much different story.
Much different story. And you know, the funny thing is Steph's right down below us, so they've got a long way to go to get Steph Gilmore up the beach, but they're up for the task. It looks like Laura Eneva and is it Dimini Stoyle carrying Steph Gilmore up there. Great to see. The smile is back. The confidence she's oozing with confidence. Fantastic surfing from Steph Gilmore. The best performance we've seen so far in this event. So far this year, quite possibly, Joan.
Right there with you, Potts, at a 10 and a 9.5. I think the screams are going to go for a while. It's hard to walk up these rocks by yourself, let alone a 5-time world champ.
Yeah. You know, the good thing about Steph is that she's so well liked from her opponents. You know, there's sort of the trend with the women. You know, they're a lot closer than the men are. There's all this male testosterone flying around with the men's division. There's these serious battles, these rivalries. You know, and yes, the girls have got that, but deep down they all love each other and hang out, and you know, really good friends, and you can see it right there.
As we see Stephanie Gilmore continuing to celebrate a huge moment in the women's world title race. Let's get some more insight from Todd and Strider on the desk.
Wow, what a final right there for Stephanie Gilmore. Congratulations to her for winning the Swatch Women's Pro. Congratulations to Sally Fitzgibbons as well. I mean, what a performance out there by those ladies, and with